Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight is the senior senator from the great state of Vermont, a two-time presidential candidate. Please welcome back to The Late Show, Senator Bernie Sanders. Senator Sanders.
I accept your nomination.
We'll get to that. Now, tonight, Trump addressed the RNC with a speech that, as I said before, is the longest acceptance speech in human history. And going into this, we were told that this was going to be all different, that he overhauled the speech, especially in light of the harrowing attack that he suffered this past weekend. What version of Trump did you see?
I think it was different. I gave up after the first hour and a half, though. You know, what stuns me about these things, Stephen, is how little the real problems of the country are discussed and how few real solutions are given. Basically, what the speech was about is country is in terrible shape, vote for me, and I'm gonna bring wonderful things to all of you. You don't know how, why, I'm gonna do it, just trust me. And that is not the way a democracy should be run. And the one thing...
Especially since this in theory, we've actually had 4 years. We know exactly what's going to happen.
Right. And you didn't notice. It was the greatest time in the history of humankind.
I missed that. I missed that part.
Flew right by. Yeah. But I mean, just stop and think. The one policy issue that he did briefly discuss, and I want everybody to appreciate this, is not just Bernie Sanders, but every scientist who studies the issue tells us that climate change is an existential threat to the planet. That if we don't get our act together, as a nation and as a world, the planet we're going to be leaving our kids and our grandchildren is going to be increasingly uninhabitable and unhealthy. Trillions of dollars of damage is going to be caused. And his solution, having taken huge amounts of money from the oil companies and the fossil fuel industry, his brilliant answer to that question is that climate change is a hoax created in China. Now, that would be funny if it wasn't so frightening. So I would hope that anybody out there, whether you're a farmer in the Midwest or you're a worker any place in this country, whether you're a young person hoping to have kids and grandchildren, think about the future of this planet if we don't tackle climate change and having a president who wants to bring more carbon emissions into the atmosphere. Just on that basis alone, nobody in America should be voting for Trump.
Now, look, I want to talk about something that surprised me here, is that the Democratic Party, you particularly, have always supported the unions very strongly, especially Teamster President Sean O'Brien, who was a keynote speaker, I believe, on Monday night, and the first time a member of the Teamsters has ever, a leader of the Teamsters, has ever addressed the RNC, and for good reason. What do you make of the fact that it happened this time?
Well, I think the speech that O'Brien gave, a lot of what he said was good, but I think anybody who has any illusion that the Republican Party cares two whits for the working class of this country is terribly wrong. I serve in the United States Senate. I am trying, as chairman of the relevant committee, to raise the minimum wage to a living wage. You know how much Republican support we're getting? Zero. I am supporting efforts to make it easier for workers to join unions, called the PRO Act, so that employers can't intimidate and threaten workers who want to join a union, which is what they're doing now. You know how many Republican supporters we have in the Senate? Zero. Republicans want to give massive tax breaks to billionaires. In the House of Representatives, 90% of Republicans want to cut Social Security in one way or another. So anyone who has any illusion that Republicans will do anything to benefit the working class of this country is sorely mistaken.
Now, speaking of which, Elon Musk, your buddy Elon, said that he would not be giving money to either candidate back in March. But last week he said he's going to give $45 million a month to a Trump super PAC between now and the election, $180 million. Right. If you would just do whatever billionaires tell you, that money could be yours, Bernie. Have you thought about it?
Stephen, I haven't, but thanks for telling me. I'll take that into consideration. All right, but you raise a really important question, and in a sense, we should thank Musk for making this issue so obvious. What we have in America now is a corrupt political system, that's all. We do not really live in a democracy, you live in a semi-democracy. You have the right to vote, but a billionaire out there has the right to contribute hundreds of millions of dollars to further his or her aims. And what Musk has done and other billionaires are doing, falling into line behind Trump, because they know they're going to get massive tax breaks. If you're in the fossil fuel industry, you're going to drill, baby, drill. So it's a good reason to support Trump. But there are billionaires who also support Biden. But to Biden's credit, Biden understands that we have to overturn this disastrous Supreme Court decision on Citizens United.
I'm going to have to hold you right there because we've got to go to a hard break here, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Senator Bernie Sanders, everybody.